The other day, I had a couple of videos about men destroying women's plants. We're now talking about pets. So, to the pet moms out there, this might be a little triggering. She says, am I the a hole for divorcing my husband for leaving my dogs outside when I'm on work trips? Obviously, like I keep saying, when women do these am I the a hole threads, they are looking for validation for feeling normal human emotion. Okay, now for the story. All right, she's 34, he's 36. She says, I am married to my husband and have been for 3 years. I have two dogs that I've had since before I married him. My dogs are like my children, and he knows this, and I thought that was how he thought of them. My job requires me to go on a lot of trips throughout the month. These trips can vary from 3 days to 3 weeks. Before I started this job, I did talk to my husband as I explained. I would be away a lot and it would leave him to take care of the house. Before you say it's not his job to take care of the dogs, I did say he wouldn't have to do much, just feed them dinner as I would feed them breakfast unless I'm away. And that's it. I will walk them when I get home. He agreed, and it all seemed fine. Now, fast forward to a month ago. I had a work trip coming up, and it was quite a long one. It would be for 2 weeks, and I had prepared my husband for it, telling him what needs to be done. He told me not to worry, and he would be fine, so I left it at that. On the day I had to leave for my trip, I said goodbye and got in the taxi. When I arrived, settled in, and did the usual. However, I get a text from my mom saying if something happened to my dogs. I was really confused and asked her, what does she mean? She said she went around to drop some of the things and saw my dogs tied up on the front porch. I was shocked and told her to send a picture. I told her to untie my dogs and take them with her, and I would cancel my trip and come home. Once I got home and opened the front door, my husband was in the living room on the phone with someone, sounding alarmed. I tried to act normal and walked up to him. He seemed surprised to see me and then very worried. I asked him what's wrong, and he said he lost my dogs. I knew what had really happened, but I played along. I said, how? And he sheepishly told me he had locked them outside for making too much noise, and someone must have taken them. I was disappointed to say the least. I asked him why he would do that, and he said they were annoying him and it shouldn't be his responsibility. I went upstairs, packed a bag, and left to go stay at my mom's. He asked me where I was going as I tried to leave the door. I said I was taking a break to think things over. Since I got to my mom's, he has been blowing up my phone, calling me over dramatic. Even my mother in law has been calling me dramatic and selfish. I haven't told him I have my dogs, but it's not just about that anymore. It's about the fact that I don't trust him anymore. I have decided to get a divorce after speaking to my mom and my best friend. My dogs are my priority. Let me know if I'm the a hole. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He said he could handle it. He said he got it. He knew what your dogs meant to you in the beginning. Y'all, at this particular point, I don't care if you had a set of stuffed pets that you loved. If a person is going to put your things out on the front, I don't care if it's a real pet, a stuffed pet, a crafting set, I don't care. If your significant other puts your stuff on the front porch where it is available to be stolen, he doesn't give a shit about you. And no, she's not the a hole because he lied to her and then he shifted blame. This is definitely Darvo in action. He did something wrong, but instead of taking responsibility for his actions, he shifted the blame on her. This is definitely Darvo. He denied that this was his problem. It was his denied that it was his responsibility, though he accepted the responsibility and then tried to reverse it, calling her names, calling her over dramatic or whatever. That's Darvo in action. And Darvo, for the people who haven't seen it, is deny, attack, reverse victim offender. So that is what Darvo is, and that is what he did. All right, for some of the comments. When I went on a 2 week long vacation back to my home country to visit my family and friends, my husband stayed behind with his two dogs and my cat. He's allergic to my cat and isn't super bonded with her. I was nervous about leaving her behind as I've had her for 13 years. Every day, he would take a picture of my cat and send it to me would give me updates on her health, behavior, etc. Why? Not because he loves the cats, but because he loves me and understands how much my cat means to me. Your husband is a huge a-hole. I love that this is the very first comment. I love that it is given. I love that it is given props to somebody doing it right because it is possible to do it correctly. This person says, I was dating this dude. We had been on like one date and talked a lot. I had a cat that I love like my baby. Well, I fell and was in the hospital. I told him, and he asked who was taking care of my cat, and I told him I didn't have anyone. I was going to cut my hospital visit short and leave early to take care of her. He jumped into action and asked if I needed him to do it. I was wary, but I had no other option, so I said yes. My cat hates everyone that isn't me, and he spent days feeding her treats and being nice to her to coax her to like him. He called me all the time when he did it too. We are now living together happily. My cat likes him too. I'm telling you because we won't have any kids. I'm infertile, but someone needs to hear what a great guy he was, even before we were official. Again, another great story of how you can do it right. And this guy, a second guy in a row, did it right. Let's do one more comment. This person says, I dated a guy that lives 5 blocks away for 7 years, and now we're just very close friends for like another 5. I have a serious illness and a baby doggy. When I wound up hospitalized, he left work to go get my dog, totally unnecessary. She could have waited. Took her home with him, cooked her dinner, unnecessary. She has quality kibble. And the next photo I got was her peacefully chewing on a new bone. I'm like, where'd the bone come from? Well, she seemed anxious about you not being here, so we walked around town and went to the treat store. He's the reason I didn't leave the hospital against medical advice because I had no plan B. Refreshing, right? This is refreshing, especially for the first Reddit of the day. Jump in here. Let me know what you think about this one. This is like two very, very different types of stories. We got the one that has a man who definitely does not deserve his partner. And then we have a couple of dudes in here that were doing things the right way. And I so appreciate the dynamic because we do need some palate cleansers from time to time. Jump in the comments, let me know what you think about this story, this video, this post. Like, comment, share. So I was scrolling Reddit and I came across this post in the Black Ladies subreddit, and she is an African lady living in the United Kingdom because her name is Africana Issues. She says, if whooping kids is truly out of love, and the dynamics of whooping people is obviously global, and many of us face the same things despite where our country of origin or where our peoples come from. Anyway, she says, I know this sounds crazy, but think about it. The average Black parent says whooping kids is an act of love or tough love and other crap. Well, I'm 26. She says, well, now that I'm 26, when my mom does something wrong, can't I just whoop her ass then? It's love, ain't it? The point I'm trying to make is beating kids is not love. It's something that should be unacceptable and outlawed. So that is her thoughts on it. I do not believe these days, and I've voiced this before, and I know that this gets people talking. I do not believe that whooping kids is love, especially when you are whooping them before they are early enough to really understand what is going on. If a kid does something that kids do, and before you even teach them the lesson that they are supposed to have known, that is a parenting issue. And kids will do stuff like be kids. Kids waste stuff. Kids are messy. That is not something that requires to be beat. Because when you are beat and you have done something like something that kids do, they will always keep that in the back of their mind that mom or dad is going to harm them simply when they make a mistake. And this has been going on for way too long. And that is not how I mean, that's not how I correct my children. And these days, when my kids make mistakes, they will let me know that they made mistakes versus panicking that they're going to be harmed simply for acting and behaving as kids do, doing things that kids do. So let's get into some of the comments. And I know that this is the type of thing that gets the discussion going. Done Lurking says, it's never sat right with me that parent child relationships are the only relationships where physical violence is seen as acceptable. It's unacceptable for your partners to hit you. It's unacceptable for your teachers to hit you. It's unacceptable for your boss to hit you. It's unacceptable for any other member of your family to hit you. Other family members hit me too. Aunts and uncles hit me too. Grandmas hit me too. So lots of people hit me. But for some reason, it's okay for your parents to hit you. And why is that? To instill fear in you to discourage certain behaviors. Why not just talk to your child? Either you raise them right and you need to trust them to know right from wrong, or they're too young to understand and you need to monitor their behavior until they do. Not to mention all of the studies that show that corporal punishment does far more harm than good. We need to let that go as a community. And I really feel we're taking steps in the right direction when it comes to gentle parenting. I think that we're also taking steps in the right direction, especially since we do keep having these discussions. And I really wish that parents would let go of some of this entrenched behavior, because many times folks are like remembering this as if it wasn't terror back when we were children. These parents, these family members were literally terrorizing us, but as we become adults, we seem to soften what they were doing. So, yes, as more of us age out of that BS, hopefully some parents will take the time to get some different tools in their toolbox. Okay, so Zeta WM says it goes even deeper than parent child relationships. It's parent minor child relationships where physical violence is seen as acceptable. When my kids were younger, I said, some suggest I whipped my son for something he did. Then, when I asked, so I can just go upside his head when he's 18, 28, 38, to when he does something wrong, she was stammering and backtracking. No, 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 you can't hit adults. Someone could see me backhand my 23-year-old in the mouth and be ready to call me crazy and abusive. But if I do the same to my 13-year-old, then people want to applaud me and claim that the kid probably deserved it for talking back. It's crazy. Exactly. It's like some people want to dominate somebody smaller than them. And that's basically it. Because soon as the person gets to an age where they're actually old enough to understand, that's when the physical abuse turns to taking away things and putting people on punishment. I was the type that always got put on punishment. So it is definitely weird. Fat Girl Fed says, I think it has something to do with the parent owning the child. The kid is theirs to raise as they please. Abusing children is a travesty. I think so too. That's the reason why it was always acceptable to actually beat your wife, because she was your property. And we actually had to outlaw beating your wife because she's not property, she's a human. But beating your children is perfectly fine because they are yours, they're your property. This person says, this is precisely why I now pause and give some thought to elder abuse. I'm sure that in many instances, the now grown kids are simply doing what was done to them out of love. Absolutely. So when these parents that used to beat their children are now getting beat as elders, is it love? Is it just correction? Y'all let me know. Maybe they are getting their karma as well. We don't know. Y'all weigh in on this one. I know this one gets the people talking. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Y'all, so this woman posted in the advice subreddit, and this is literally a geriatric homosexual. Oh my goodness. She's 32, he's in his 50s. And okay, look at this title. My husband is blaming me for his unsuccessfulness. She got a 50 some odd year old person that is a geriatric homosexual. Okay, let's get into this post. She's 32. Once again, he's in his 50s. She says, I married a man in his 50s. He's the artsy creative type, always hating the conventional life. When we met, he was still working but hated his job. He was fit, handsome, and looked 10 years younger than he was. He still is. I'm in the legal sector and has since opened my own venture. He left his job and is now helping me manage the business. Things have been busy, but not quite smooth yet. There are times when we didn't have salary, but lots of times I'm in the spotlight, speaking in front of crowds. I'm working 2 jobs now to ensure we have some income if business is slow, while he works part time with me. My husband is a sweetheart, but has a bad temper. When they try to temper things with this, my husband is a sweetheart, but has a bad temper. Your husband is not a sweetheart if he has a bad temper. He never raised a hand, but his words are like knives. Then he is once again not a sweetheart if his words are like knives. Recently, maybe he felt stressed that his retirement funds are running low and and has no exercise. I don't know what that means and has no exercise. He is now hating the fact that he is not a CEO like his friends, can't afford a Mercedes, can't buy any Apple products he wants on a whim, or stay at a 5-star hotel without worrying about the bill. With my workload, I work most of the time and have no time for sports. He is now getting pissed at every chance he gets because he can't go to the gym or go golfing. And now things are getting more and more tense. He is now being passive aggressive, getting angry when he can't find his stuff or if the house is messy. How is the fact that he can't find his glasses my fault? We don't have kids, by the way. He literally can't take himself to golf or gym anytime he wants without needing me there. He also asked me to move back to my hometown to care for my mom, but here, he can't stand my mom and always screams at her. I told him I'm leaving if that happens again, but he keeps on apologizing, saying he doesn't know what's wrong with himself. So now I have to work, care for the family, pay attention to my mother, and endure his screaming fits. Once again, this man is not a sweetheart. Okay, she continues with, but somehow it's all my fault now. So my question is, what have I done wrong and what do I do to fix this? I'm getting mentally and physically sick from being overworked while at the same time trying to save my marriage. I'm at a loss. She says, update. Hi, everyone. Thanks for the helpful comments and suggestions. It's been a great read. I've spoken to him over breakfast today, and he told me he is having a mental breakdown. He is happy to go to therapy with me. I probably won't update here again, but thank you, everyone. The thing is, she says, my question is, what have I done wrong and what to do to fix this? What she did wrong is get married to somebody who is several decades older than her. He wasn't very successful at that particular point, and yes, don't marry somebody that is unsuccessful like that because it's going to be frustrating for him, especially since she was on a trajectory up and he's on a trajectory down. Obviously, his ego got in the way, and now he is hollering. There is no fixing this that she can do. And she tried to make him seem better than he was, but every single thing that she said after that showed how terrible of a person he was. I already hate these big age gap situations, but this one is different in that he doesn't have any power and he seems upset about it. Like he can't do anything that his other actually successful friend group is doing. He can't do those things because he hasn't done anything to garner any income. So he's jealous that he can't do anything. There's nothing she can do to fix that. There's nothing that she can do to enhance his successfulness. I'm not going to jump into the comments here. I just want you guys to see the name BurbNBougie. This is how you can get in contact with me on Reddit. And this is also the name of my subreddit. So if you want to drop articles there and let me see what you're looking at that you think that I want to see. I do get tons of tags, but that's where you can contact me. This is bad, and this is just another example of why you don't get with men who have shown that they are not successful in their ventures. Homosexuals are not going to get better. This man is a parasite. He is sucking her dry, but also being angry about it. But she, for whatever reason, wants to keep her parasite happy. Y'all let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. So the other day, I did a thread where this man broke up with his girlfriend because he wanted to travel a lot and she wanted him to settle down after marriage. And someone in the comments said that that man needed to hook up with the wild card in a previous post. I hadn't seen that post, but someone had tagged me in it. And this man says, am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend she is too much of a wild card to marry? He's 27 and she's 27. I think the other people were 27 as well. So this man says, my girlfriend is a bit of a free spirit. Don't get me wrong. She is very intelligent, attractive, and has a lot going for her. We've been together 3 years. But the issue I've been having recently is that she is wanting marriage, and I see her as such an untamable horse, an untamable horse, so to speak. She is a rebellious, free spirited adventurer who literally packs up and leaves to go on a trip at the drop of a hat. She tells me she's going and won't go if there are already commitments, but if she can, she is gone. She is financially secure, but she also spends a lot. Past an emergency fund, all of her money goes to travel, taking up multitude of projects. I'm sorry. She woke up one day and decided to enroll in an auto repair course. She is currently getting GIA certified for gemology. She makes jewelry. She works remote, so she literally will pack up and take her work with her. And when she finds events, she wants to go to ECT. She's lived abroad, had a house in the south of France. She speaks 3 languages, goes to Germany and Austria often. She picks up hobbies or skills like they are M&Ms. There isn't anything wrong with it, I guess, but it just feels chaotic. Her biggest flaw is that she is rebellious. She absolutely hates, loathes the traditional route for anything. I went to college and she didn't. She had problems with teachers, which were founded. One abused her, but it's widespread. She quits jobs because she manages better, and she does. She has her own business and a host of side hustles, but it is just, how long does it last? She was asking me if I was ever going to propose, and I said I wasn't sure. We argued back and forth a little, and she asked why I wouldn't. I was honest and said I saw her as a wild card, that she just takes off a lot. She says she was lucky and could do that her friend died unexpectedly in his 30s, and she is absolutely not going out working a boring 9 to 5 with no life and no experiences under her belt. She left and hasn't spoke to me since. It's been 5 days. She said she needed to think. Am I overreacting? The thing is, I don't even think that he is overreacting. I don't. Some people need structure, some people need to be spontaneous. And this man sounds like he needs to get with the other woman that got broken up with. These two need to break up because they will absolutely make each other's lives miserable. She will be miserable settling down and having structure and having a life that is, every single day the same, and he will be miserable being with somebody that is so flighty and on the go. Back in the day, I am one of those people that likes to settle down. I like normalcy. I like structure. That's me. One of my former best friends is the flighty type. She got a job that allowed her to travel. She was all over the place. She would pop in and out of town. That threw off my routine. That threw off my work routine. That threw off my workout routine. I did not like that. I like to know when you're coming. So it's like sometimes people just don't mesh. And sometimes spontaneous people need to be with other spontaneous people, or somebody that's like, cool, go do your thing. And then people that like structure need to be with other people that are perfectly fine with that, or just understand or whatever. Sometimes people are just not compatible, and that is perfectly fine. I don't see any bad guys in this situation. Okay, so his edit or update. Just to clarify, because I see a lot of comments and accusations of her flying around. She isn't a bad person. She just likes to be on the move. She's been mentioning marriage, wanting to discuss it from the beginning, or at least 6 to 9 months into our relationship. The expectation was always there. We discussed it. When I asked her if she would slow down or settle, she's always said she just can't imagine not traveling at all. That she's happy to do school runs and live in an area for a long time, but she has a lot of stuff on her bucket list, like going to Japan and things. I've always countered with, what about kids? She says she wants to give them those experiences and keep them cultured and open minded, but obviously it depends on them. She functions under different kids, need different things. She was abused. Her friend died very tragically, which I won't go into detail about. She has anxiety and CPTSD that is managed. And honestly, you never know she has those things. I only know because she gave me the disclaimer. She doesn't have ADHD. Please stop trying to diagnose her with bipolar or ADHD and leave that to her professionals. I do not like it when people jump into the comments with a blurb of someone's life and try to, give a diagnosis. That is wild that people think that they could do that. Like, who are you, Reddit person, to give someone a diagnosis? I do want to marry her, but it just freaks me out that she is so hyper independent. She always invites me along, and sometimes I go. I told her I don't want her traveling while pregnant or anything, and she always been understanding of my point of view. I think I messed up telling her that she was a wild card and would be a bad wife or mother by extension. Eek. Okay. And no, she did not ghost me. She asked for a specific amount of time and has been sending me one or two texts just checking in, but she wanted a week to decide how she was feeling, so I'm giving her a week. She also hasn't had a lot of partners, like some people are suggesting. She's been with two people. She doesn't drink, smoke, or do drugs at all. Hopefully, we can salvage this. Update two. It's hitting how dumb I've been. I didn't really talk about it with her, so I'm positive for her. It feels like this critique that she has to be less spontaneous or on the go feels out of the blue. She hasn't responded to my last message, but she may be busy. I basically said I wanted to talk and actually deeply put a plan together, that I love her and want things to work out. The silence is killing me, but I deserve it for being a jackass. I feel like she's 90% out of the door, but I don't want to end things with her. She will have to make that decision. She's been asking me when we might get married, and maybe if I had given her a solid answer, she would have been secure enough to slow down. In this case, if this woman leaves him, I honestly think that it would be the best for both of him. He sounds like he needs someone more stable that wants to do have a baby, be at home, and that kind of thing. And she sounds like she needs somebody that is ready to go. She needs someone that's like more boom, boom, boom. A lot of times in the midst of a breakup, you can't see that maybe it was for the best. But I don't think that this relationship will last. And even if they do stay together, I don't think that they are particularly compatible. But y'all weigh in. I'm not going to do the comments because obviously he's been getting a lot of comments. And I don't think that it is cool to beat up on him for wanting specific things, having the nerve to broach them, and then, having this outcome. I was taken a bit aback when he at first called her an untamable horse. I took exception to that. But other than that, he just seems like he needs some stability. Y'all weigh in. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.